I see a trend within myself. Let's fix it. Let's address it. Let's, whatever it is, let's get knee deep in the practice. And that's, I want it to be positive. So that's where I'm at. And I'm glad to help somebody do that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live now. And let's see, I'll just make some adjustments to my microphone. Change the music because it's a little bit too calming.
I can't hear any music, Gregors.
You mean on Twitch?
Oh, good point.
Yeah. Put on some of that fluty boy.
Yeah, I like it. I think I like it better than, a little bit better when Ben actually plays, but
Wow. Well, I think,
Thanks, Andrea.
Call it out like I see it.
Yeah, Ben's amazing with the flute. It's wonderful. So, as per usual, you guys know the drill. Most of you do. We're gonna hang out for like about 7 or 8 minutes right now while we wait for people to trickle in, and then we'll begin the practice for the evening. Y'all did a vulnerability meditation with Ben last night, and the night prior to that we did compassion-based practice. And so tonight we'll circle back to the breath, and we'll practice with the breath. So you're welcome to, if you want now, to share any experiences you've had with your practice, and also ask any questions prior to the guided meditations. You can ask anything you want, although if it's sort of a heavy-duty question, or I feel like it could be part of a bigger discussion, then we'll just wait until after the meditation. Maybe I'll get my stuffed unicorn tonight to join us.
Oh geez, how is Uni?
Uni's great, as always.
Is he filled with glitter and love?
The paragon of love, the rainbow unicorn of light. Good evening. For those of you who are just popping into Twitch and you're new, we're going to start the guided meditation just about 6 minutes now. We're going to be doing a practice that's suitable for beginners and people who are experienced. We're going to be practicing with the breath. I'll be right back. I'm going to get our mascot. Thanks for the host. Mr. Gaw, how are you? Ben, I think you should switch to your personal account. You nut. I love you too. I love all of you so much. Unspeakably so. Although I did just speak it, so maybe I've debunked myself. What if the unicorn just sort of sat here and I wasn't even in the camera frame and I just spoke in the microphone? Right? Wouldn't that be great? Oh, you can see my hand. That's no good. Oh, I should give Uni my glasses too. There we go. I can't see shit now, but I'm assuming you can see the glasses. Good evening, everyone. This is Dr. Unicorn, and we're here to talk about mindfulness. mindfulness is a very important subject. It can really help us live our lives in a way that's graceful and peaceful. And yeah, well, everyone should try it, definitely, and try it more than once, because it can take a little bit to take, you know. Okay, this is really uncomfortable because I'm standing. I'm bent over, actually. Okay. That was fun. So, just like 3 or 4 more minutes and then we'll get started with the guided practice. If you have any quick questions you'd like to ask before we get started, feel free to ask. Don't hold back. Be gregarious with your preguntas. Mungkin kita bisa obrol dengan bahasa Indonesia. Tapi aku nggak tahu kosakata untuk meditation. You know, if you relax, if you let go of even language, then maybe you could understand what lays at the heart of all words. So, we're not going to get started quite yet, but this evening we are going to be practicing with the breath. It's definitely my one of my 2 favorite practices to share. There's a couple of reasons why. Actually 3 in particular. Those of you who have been around when I've guided this practice before have heard me say this, but I think it's worth repeating many, many, many times. Sort of one of those things that unfolds the more you notice. So there are 3 reasons that I really love the breath as an object of meditation. The first reason is that the breath is with us from the moment the body is born to the moment the body dies. The breath is there. The breath is there. In fact, if the breath stopped for not even that long, just a few minutes, gone. Gone like the wind. It's very important when it comes to the body's life force. The second reason is that the breath can be both very intense and obvious. So even when the mind is so agitated and uncomfortable and totally dissipated, totally unconcentrated, you can still use the breath as a meditation object. It's not abstract, it's right there. And on the other side of the coin, the breath can become so subtle, so very subtle, even to the point where it may feel like we're not breathing at all. So it's suitable for both a dissipated mind and a concentrated mind. And the third reason is that the breath reflects our conscious and unconscious state of mind. So I'm sure you've noticed, and here's a really big and obvious example, that when we've been angry or sad or anxious, the breath changes. The breath changes. When we're very excited, very joyful, very happy, the breath changes. The breath reflects the intense emotions of those experiences. And on a subtler level, the breath is constantly changing in its rhythm and its depth with all the thoughts and feelings that are arising. So when we observe the breath, we're also indirectly observing the coming and goings of thought and feeling. Yeah, Zeph said shallow breathing. I've had that a lot recently. So, when our bodies become relaxed and the mind becomes concentrated, the breath tends to become very, very, very light. Very, very, very light. And that's okay. That's okay. I'll answer Andrea's question here. I didn't see it until just now. And then we will begin. So Andrea said, I noticed some resistance earlier and quickly was able to let it go. I feel like it is easier with time spent with the practice. Also, what is the benefit of just being quiet for a day or so? So let's talk about the benefits of shutting the fuck up, as I like to call it, after the meditation. But definitely, a lot of what we're doing here with practices like this is that we're training the mind to let go. We're training the mind to let go. It's like a child grabs the candy and you're like, yo, cut it out, no candy. And then maybe at first they don't even drop the candy when you tell them to. They just start kicking and screaming, I don't want to drop the candy. But then after some time they drop the candy, but maybe they're mischievous, they pick the candy up again. And back and forth, they pick it up again. And similarly, this is sort of the process that we go through with our minds and with the habit patterns and conditioning that we encounter in the mind-body experience. And when I say mind, I mean all of the experiences, all of the phenomena we experience that is abstract. There are a lot of layers there. I don't want to be too specific because it might get confusing. But just thoughts and emotions, yes. So if you're not already, take the time now, to establish a comfortable meditative posture. Ideally you will sit with an aligned spine, neck, and head. However, if for any reason sitting with that type of posture is very uncomfortable or simply not possible for you, that's okay. Find a good balance between comfort and posture. This is not the time to try to force your body into a new position. If you want to establish the flexibility necessary to sit with proper posture for 10, 15, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours, and beyond, then I definitely suggest starting a stretching practice. If you're sitting on the floor or sitting cross-legged and you find that uncomfortable, you can try kneeling with a pillow in between your heels and your butt. You can also sit on a chair. You can even recline or lay down. However, keep in mind that a reclined or prone position can lend to the tendency to become drowsy. You're sitting comfortably now. Eyes are gently closed. We're going to come into contact with the touch of the breath. If you already have an established practice with the breath that you would like to do, you can begin. Or if you'd simply like to follow along or want to practice this technique, then stay with me. Begin by tracing a triangular area on the face, either with the finger or with your bare attention. The triangular area begins at the tip of the nose, runs to the left corner of the mouth, to the right corner of the mouth, and back to the tip of the nose. This triangular area on the face. Now, breathing through the nose as we should be for this practice. Somewhere within this triangular area, the breath is touching. The air from every inhalation and exhalation is passing against some part of your face in this triangular area, and you can feel it. So now, eyes are gently closed. Body is in a relaxed, comfortable, meditative posture. Bring your attention to that triangular area and allow yourself to breathe. See if you can notice the touch of the breath. See if you can notice where the touch of the breath can be felt. If you've found a spot, wonderful. That will be where you anchor your awareness for the duration of the practice. If you've found multiple spots, wonderful. Just choose one place to anchor your awareness in. And if for any reason at all you feel as though you cannot experience the touch of the breath, and that's okay, then right now, take a few conscious, heavier breaths. So heavy that they're audible, like this. And when you do that, keep your attention within the triangular area on the face, and you'll certainly be able to feel the touch of the breath somewhere there. And when you notice where the breath is touching, that's where you'll anchor your awareness for the duration of the practice, whether or not you can feel the touch of the breath right now. And then allow the breath to return to a natural pace. This practice is simple. We're not looking for anything special. All we're doing is continuously staying present with the touch of the breath in every inhalation and exhalation. And should the mind wander, should the attention wander, as it is wont to do, simply notice when the attention wanders, and gently return to the touch of the breath. The attention will wander. Different distractions will arise. It might be a physical sensation of some sort, it might be a sound, it may be a thought, a feeling, some discomfort, some pleasure, a fantasy, a memory, a want, a dislike. There are so many different types of distractions that arise. That's okay. That's okay. Right now, the content of the distraction doesn't matter. Whatever it is, as soon as you notice that the attention has strayed from the breath, recognize what's distracted you, smile gently, and return. Return to the touch of the breath. You might return to the breath 100 times in a minute. You might return to the breath once in 20 minutes. It doesn't matter. As soon as you notice the attention has wandered, simply return. Simply return to being present with the touch of the breath. Allow your awareness to relax. Allow your awareness to encompass the entire body. Our goal is not to push distractions away or to push other experiences we're having away. Our goal is to anchor our awareness in the breath and continuously return to the breath. Concentration will naturally establish itself. Consistently, continuously, keep on returning to the touch of the breath. At your own pace, and only if you want to, you can gently release the practice. However, I encourage you to stick with the touch of the breath. Stay with the breath for the duration of the stream, for the duration of your evening or day, for the rest of the week and beyond. There is space now for discussion. You can ask any type of question that you have. Share your experiences. And for those of you who are not aware, we have these group guided meditations every single evening at 10 p.m. EST, 365 days a year. And if you'd like to show your support, we would really appreciate a follow on the Twitch channel, or whatever other way you feel like expressing your support. It's always grateful. You can find out more information on the website, projectmindfulness.com. We would really appreciate a follow. Hello, Longfep. I'm glad you were able to experience some peace during the practice, and welcome. How do I overcome loss and pain? What a great question, and a pretty big one, and also quite a universal question. How do I overcome loss and pain? Well, I want to say two things right now. I want to say two things. I want to say that running away from loss, running away from pain, a powerful desire to change it, that often only cements ourselves in that loss and pain. It's okay. It's okay to experience loss. And it's okay to experience pain. A lot of the process that we're doing here in these meditation practices is reframing our relationship to pain and seeing pain more clearly and seeing the root of pain more clearly. So, briefly, what's happening when we're paying attention to the breath? I can't say this enough times. We anchor our awareness in the touch of the breath, and when a distraction arises, well, firstly, what is that distraction? That distraction, whatever it may be, is an expression of our own habits and conditioning. It's an expression of our own habits and conditioning. The thought that distracts me is not going to be the same thought that distracts you, and that thought is going to be accompanied by different feelings in myself than it will be accompanied in you. The distractions that arise in our practice are the manifestation of our own habits and conditioning. Now, normally, what is the mind habituated to do when these things arise? Well, the mind jumps around like a wild monkey, like a wild animal, from distraction to distraction to distraction. But now here in this practice, instead of just letting it roam free, letting it react continuously, letting it engage, I like this, I like this, I don't like this, I don't like this, I like this, I like this, I want this to be different, I want this to be different, I want this to stay forever, I want this to stay forever. Instead of letting that happen, we're noticing what's distracting us, and then we're returning to the touch of the breath. Just noticing and then returning. We're letting it be. In the same way that a kid might come up to us and be like, pay attention to me, and we don't pay attention to them, and eventually they walk away. In the same way that you have to train a puppy, Okay, sit. Oh, but then they move and they run around. Okay, sit. But then they move and they run around. Okay, sit. But then they move and they run around. You are letting go of the habit of monkey mind. And the magical thing that happens in this practice, is that we then begin to work through, the backlog of emotions that we never really processed. We begin to work through the backlog of emotions and experiences that we never really processed. And it might happen very obviously. You might be sitting there in meditation and suddenly some intense memory of some crazy thing that happened comes up, some trauma. Or it might be a little more below the surface. Maybe suddenly your whole body feels like it's on fire and you're so hot, so much fire, or agitation or drowsiness. These are all manifestations of our habits. Let's answer some questions here. Talia. Is there a reason you usually do breathing meditation focusing around the nose? All the versions I've tried have focused on the stomach. Also, the loving kindness meditation we did a few days ago was really helpful. I felt so much better waking up the next morning. I think a good deal of that is preference. However, by focusing on a single point where the breath is touching around the nose, it allows more opportunity to establish a higher degree of concentration. Although you can still establish the same type of concentration by focusing around the belly as you can around the nose. I do think a lot of it is preference based. Very much so preference based. I've found the nose to be really good for me. The belly might be good for you. But again, I have found benefit in having it focusing on a single point rather than a wider area. Possum Pal. Oh wait. Also, the loving kindness meditation we did a few days ago was really helpful. Amazing, Talia. That's wonderful. Keep at it. Keep trying. Keep doing it. Possum Pal says, I have a question that may or may not be related to the practice today. I've noticed that I feel calm as I'm dealing with myself, but sometimes seeing something, interacting with something sets me off instantly and it comes out as if I were super mad. I can't understand it. There is a reason for me to be mad, but I was never this explosive. When you say it comes out as if you were super mad, are you super mad, or are you just reacting as if you're mad but you're not actually mad? Can you clarify that for me? I'm gonna drink some water and try not to spill it all over myself. Dum da da dum. I don't... Oh, I'll wait until you're finished here. Please feel free to share your experiences, to ask questions. Yeah. So, along this process of self-exploration, of self-realization, it can... we eventually start to sift through the muck, and shit comes up, and it can come up in ways that we didn't expect it to. And I can't necessarily offer you some type of solid, satisfactory answer like, oh, that's exactly what's happening to you. but it really does sound like you're moving through a stage of your practice where you've uncovered some feelings and there's some processing that's going on. And I can say with great certainty that it will certainly pass. And not only that, but you can use this time as an opportunity to really examine what's going on, right? See if you can watch very closely from the moment that something happens that sets you off. See if you can watch that stimuli happening, and then the anger begins to arises, grows, manifests into some thought or speech or action, and then passes, gone. See if you can watch that entire process. Even if you're not yet able to create space in it, see if you can watch it, examine it, investigate it. Watch how the feelings and thoughts are born and watch how they die. Watch it. Zeph says fire, more due to the orthopedic things. Feels like some nerve things are populating that I need to mention to the physical therapist. I also had some insight that I am ready as soon as the physical therapist releases me from their care, that I want to do a retreat for 10 or so days. Don't think I can handle more than that because of medical issues. Don't want to go too far away, but I feel like I need the time. Yeah, Zeph, I feel you. A meditation retreat can be incredibly valuable. And even if not necessarily like a retreat that's meant for meditation, even just having space, like serious space, no technology, perhaps no people, can be, well, it can be life-changing. I remember now that you had asked before we started the benefits of being quiet, and I won't even get into it. All I can say is that consider the fact that we're almost never quiet for more than a night. Imagine what would happen if you didn't speak for 10 days, 20 days, 60, 100. What would that feel like? Yeah, absolutely, Possum. Definitely. It can be really challenging. It can be really challenging. And the truth is, at least in my experience, is that these phases, the phases continue to cycle. The phases continue to cycle. It's not as if at any point along this path we transcend pain and pleasure. We still experience those things. It's more that the more clearly we see into the nature of our own experiences, the more clearly we see very deeply that what has arisen will also pass. And I've used this analogy quite a bit before. I like it because it's simple, although perhaps maybe not a perfect analogy, but that's okay. When you were a kid and you stubbed your toe and it hurt like a motherfucker and you freaked out and started crying and it was a big deal, or you scraped your knee, it was a big deal. But now if you stub your toe or you scrape your knee, it still hurts a lot. I mean, damn, stubbed toes hurt a lot. But you know that it's gonna pass pretty quickly. And because of your wisdom into the nature of a stubbed toe, which is that it's very painful, but it will pass, you can experience that pain with a smile on your face. It doesn't faze you. It doesn't faze you. And similarly, when we start to see really truly into the impermanent nature of our own experiences, of ourselves, then when these types of obstacles, painful emotions, thoughts arise, we can be present with them, still experiencing them, but it doesn't faze us. It's just like, oh yeah, this is happening right now, but it's definitely going to go away in a bit, and you can just be happy. Nice, Seth. Yeah, it can be a great practice to be quiet in the morning. Especially if you're doing a little chanting practice when you wake up. Does anyone have any questions? We do have these guided meditations every night at 10 p.m. EST. Every single night. If you'd like to support us or just get notified, definitely give us a follow on the Twitch channel if you haven't already. Does anyone have any more questions or any experiences that they would like to share or topics of discussion? Well, before I sign off for the evening, did you stay with your breath for the entire rest of the stream? Did you remember? And with that, I will bid you all adieu. I'll see you again tomorrow evening at 10 p.m. EST for another group practice. Feel free to contact me in the meantime. You can ping me in Discord, send me a private message if you want to. And, well, heckin' yeah, thanks for practicing with me tonight. And I really hope that you continue to practice. Keep continuing to practice because continuity is the key to success. Continuity is the key to success. I'll see you tomorrow evening. Good night.